real
I
quick.
also wanted to ask about Gaza's agriculture itself. Gaza used to provide a significant amount of its daily needs through farmers who farmed very fertile soil, which is all kind of on the eastern side of the Strip. That side is where Israeli forces still control and occupy. So they withdrew. They control about half of the enclave now. They withdrew to an area called the Yellow Line. Behind that Yellow Line is where all the agriculture of Gaza is or was, because they systematically destroyed all the farmland, nearly all of it. I mean, according to the United Nations, only 1.5% of agricultural farmland is still there or accessible. So this is another way that they have decimated Palestinian society, Palestinian economy. And also very importantly, the olive season, the olive harvest just began, a couple of weeks ago. And for the third year in a row, because it came around October 7th, that's when the olive harvest is. So for the third year in a row, Palestinian farmers have been unable really to harvest their olives. And we did a piece about this, and one agricultural expert said he estimates about 1 million olive trees of Gaza's 1.1 million trees have been destroyed. And the very few that are left are drying out because there's not enough water. The farmers can't get to them to irrigate and fertilize them. Israel systematically destroyed the olive presses. And olives and olive oil is, of course, very important to Palestinian culture, Palestinian society, but also the economy and the way of feeding people. So can you talk about this decimation of Palestinian farmers and their livelihoods?
Yes. I can add my notes, Sharif, about this point.
Yes, please.
Yeah. When we talk about farmers and agriculture, really there is another very important matter. When we talk about polluting underground waters, and a lot of samples, when we check with the cooperation with the others, society here and municipality, we discover it's not appropriate for agriculture and farmers work here. So it's another issue when we talk about the systematically and very well calculated policy to destroy the agriculture.
Is that from the ordnance? Is that from the bombs?
Yeah.
Like the toxicity from the bombs?
Yeah, we expect that from the bombs, the huge bombs. When we calculate the bombs, we talk about every person here. Maybe every person have 66 kilogram of explosion, high material explosion. So you can calculate also 1,000,001 trees that face something like that. And when we talk about the explosive robots, it's cause damage under the ground more than 30 up to 40 meters under the ground. So it's deeply penetrate the earth surface and push the poisoning materials and the remaining explosions and the sand of explosions is very poisonous under the ground, and it's directly absorbed to the underground water. So you can imagine what's the meaning of pollutions, what's the meaning of poisoning our life, our air, our water. So it's not easy to talk about destroying agriculture, just removing the trees. They root it, and they need to uproot any hope to resume the agriculture by destroying the infrastructure and polluting the underground waters to prevent any hope to recover this again and again. And as my colleague Sharif talked about the olive seasons, nowadays we do some harvest in our olives, but the remaining trees is not enough. And we discover a little size and a lot of damages with the remaining trees, and we discover a lot of diseases that maybe infectious diseases that against the trees and the olives. In my expectations, there is no enough amount of olives and olive oil. And also, as you mentioned, for the economical issues, we will face a lot of struggles in the nearest time to pass this situation, because Gaza produce tons of olive and oil of olive, and we do a lot of things with the olive within the next 3 months in the ordinary time. But when we do statistics nowadays, we discover most of our farmland destroyed.
One point I wanted to make, for comparison, for ever it's worth, in the neighborhood that I live in Washington D.C., the university nearby conducted a lot of experiments in World War I for chemical weapons, mustard gas, and all the different munitions that were used in World War I. And to this day, there are bulldozers and diggers that go around digging up soil and getting rid of like toxic soil and replacing it with clean soil. And, you know, we're talking 107 years later. Like the depth of this toxicity is profound.
I wanted to mention also something about the olive oil and olive attacks. You know, this is obviously not just in Gaza. It's happening, and it happens every year in the West Bank, and it's happening to an extreme degree this year as settlers are more emboldened, more violent every year. I think that it's been documented just in the past 2 weeks alone, when the harvest began, 158 attacks have been carried out against Palestinians who are, you know, living with their olive trees and trying to harvest their olives. And we spoke with Jasper Nathaniel, who documented one of these attacks, you know, in a video that went viral, as a settler attacks a Palestinian woman with a club and knocks her unconscious. This is just what's caught on camera. This happens all the time. And when you speak about, you know, the parts of land that Israel occupies, you know, they have area A, B, and C in the West Bank. Area C is which Israel has administrative and military control, even though Israel really controls the entire West Bank, is where all the most fertile farmland is, and all the underground water is. And also, when we talk about, you know, the olive tree being this important cultural symbol for Palestine, there is a process of ecological colonization that Israel has been embarking on in decades, where they uproot olive trees and will plant pine trees or different kinds of trees that are actually not natural to that environment.
Which then burn at the drop of a match.
They burn, they destroy biodiversity, they look more European.
Right.
But this is also part of this like larger process of a settler colonial project.